That's what's beautiful about this project. It's great British songs, and it's iconic British songs by the Beatles and the Stones, the Kinks and the Hollies, Brian Ferry, Jerry Rafferty, Free. You would never put these songs and reggae in the same sentence, you know. But let me tell you, I've done Hard Day's Night, and trust me, it's a beautiful dancehall classic already.
It's been a hard day's and night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's and night. I should be sleeping like a log, but when I get home to you, I find the things that you do make me feel alright. You know I work hard day to get your money to buy you things, and it's worth it just to hear you say you're gonna give me everything.
Well, I think that the beauty of this album is that they are iconic songs that everybody knows all around the world. I'm working with, I'm doing ragga beats with Sly and Robbie, but I'm covering iconic 60s songs, so I'm hoping to get this across to, you know, people who wouldn't ordinarily be listening to Sly and Robbie and to ragga beats. For me, my favourite track has got to be Paint It Black. It's very, very different to the original, you know, and I like that.
I see people turn their heads and quickly look away. Like a newborn baby, it just happens every day.
The challenge is to pick a song that everybody knows, like Baker Street, for instance, you know, which is one of the, in the top 10, you know, most listened to songs of all time. To take that and to make that into a reggae song, you know, that's the challenge.
Winding your way down Baker Street, lighting your head and dead on your feet. Well, another crazy day, you'll drink the night away and forget about everything. The city desert makes you feel so cold. It's got so many people, but it's got no soul. And it's taken you so long to find out you were wrong when you thought it held everything. You used to think that it was so easy. You used to say that it was so easy. But you're trying now. Another year and then you'd be happy. Just one more year and then you'd be happy. But you're crying now.
My first band I called UB40. We started in a cellar and we learned how to play. Chrissy Hines was number one with Brass in Pocket, and she needed someone to go on tour, and she saw us. We were playing about our 11th, 12th gig. So that was our big break. And while we were on that tour, we released our first single, which went to number 4. Then the first album went on to sell 8 million copies, so we were up and running, you know. It was a money thing, as always, you know. I didn't like the management. I didn't like where they were going. You know, there were things happening that I wasn't involved in, you know, let alone that I agreed with. And people say, you know, would I go back to UB40? No way, you know, absolutely no way, because that would, for me, be going backwards, you know. I'm really happy with what I'm doing now, because I feel like I'm advancing, you know. You know, this is it now. I can do it, you know. And people seem to be enjoying it, so. Well, I still feel utterly betrayed, you know, by the people I thought were my brothers, you know. We were supposed to be, you know, a socialist band with socialist lyrics and socialist ideals, you know, and that all went out the window. You know, a lot of stuff went down, and very nasty stuff it was. You know, it's not new. What happened to UB40 has happened to most bands, you know. I watch the biography channel just to make myself feel better because, you know, it's the same story, you know, since the 60s, really. Surprisingly, when I left UB40, a lot of the band's insecurities, jealousies and, you know, stuff came to the surface that surprised me. And I think certain band members showed themselves to be, you know, very jealous and petty and, you know, vindictive. Just revolting stuff, and you know, it was a big surprise to me how there obviously was a lot of jealousy and stuff that had been bubbling under for a long time, all came bursting through the surface, you know, and yeah.
The road is long.
But the first time I heard of UB40 with him was a song called 1 in 10. And then they came to O3S and we've been friends ever since. It has been great working with Ali. Musically, he seems to go to the next level all the time. He always go for it. And this is just like the basic part of it, you know, like laying down the drum track and the bass line and rough vocals and some keyboards. So I think when he goes back to England, then he's gonna take it to a bit far.
In the street, smiling from her head to her feet, I said, hey, what is this? Maybe she's in need of a kiss. I said, hey, what's your name? Maybe we can see things the same. Now don't you wait or hesitate.
doing in Jamaica. Here I am in Jamaica, started recording an album with Sly and Robbie, my good friends and my heroes. And I've basically finished today all 12 drum tracks. Sly Dunbar and Robbie Shakespeare, they're the greatest drum and bass in the world, the best rhythm section in the world, in my opinion. And in most people's opinion, really, you know, especially musicians, you know, they're the most respected drum and bass, I think, in the world. And I have the privilege of working with them and of having known them for 20 years now, you know. So if I'm going to do like a project, I'll use Sly and Robbie when I can because they're so fast. I like to count them as good friends of mine, as well as, you know, my absolute heroes. It's one of the last remaining great studios in London. Anybody has been to Sam, I would have thought, you know. I've done my last 2 albums here at Sam, and I use the same room every time. It's a great studio for me. To be in London, you know, mixing those songs that were done in London 40 years ago or whatever, it's pretty cool, I think. I love London. It's like most capitals. It's very cosmopolitan, and it's just a great place to be. It's the music scene's good, the fashion's great. With UB40, we wanted to stay sort of autonomous and away from London and away from the business, you know. And back in the day, it did pay for us to have our own studio, because we made, you know, at least an album a year for 25 years, you know. So there was 8 people producing one song, you know. So you'd have 16 hands on the mixing desk, and you would have to go through mixes. And if somebody got their one little bit wrong, we'd all have to start again. So of course you can imagine we'd be mixing until dawn and fighting, you know, all through the next day. You can make an album on a laptop, you know, nowadays. Not that I'd want to. You've got to be careful with computers because they can start using you, you know. It doesn't matter if you're a computer whiz, still got to come up with good tunes.
It's a the lady
Depp is a Jamaican colloquialism, I suppose. If you go there upon a thing, go Depp on a thing, so Depp. It also meant Department of Employment and Productivity. So the Depp band is my new band. They're not self-taught musicians like UB40 were. If I get an idea, I can get it done immediately because they're seasoned professionals and they can play. So I go, let's do this. They do it immediately. I'd say the Depp band is the hottest reggae band on the circuit at this moment in time.
My way over, wandering I'm lost as I travel along the white cliffs of Dover. Many rivers to cross, and it's only my way, and that keeps me alive. I've been licked, washed up for years, and I merely survive because of my pride. And this loneliness won't leave me alone. It's such a drag to be on your road. My woman left and she didn't say why. We here like it's I've got to try. Many rivers to cross, but just where to begin? I'm playing for time. And every time when I find myself, thinking of committing some dreadful crime. Many rivers to cross, and I can't seem to find my way over. Wandering I'm lost as I travel along the white cliffs of Dover. Many rivers to cross, and it's only my way, and that keeps me alive. I've been licked, washed up for years, and I merely survive because of my pride. And this loneliness won't leave me alone. It's such a drag to be on your road. My woman left and she didn't say why. We here like it's time, got to try. Many rivers to cross, and I can't seem to find my way over. Wandering I'm lost as I travel along the white cliffs of Dover. Many rivers to cross, and it's only my way, and I kiss me alive. I've been licked, washed up for years, and I merely survive because of my pride. Many, yeah. Wandering I'm lost,
Well, I've been on tour sort of permanently for the last 18 months. You know, we've been to Hawaii. We had a great tour of Hawaii and of Panama and Suriname and French Guyana, and Florida. We've been to Holland and Africa, South Africa, England, and we're going to do more or less the same again. But we're branching out. We're going to be in the South Pacific again this year. We're going to be doing the Ragamuffin tour in Australasia. You know, hopefully we'll be hitting Fiji and Tonga and Samoa. You know, we'll be in South Africa. We'll be in South America. We'll be in North America. You know, we're up and running basically. Now that I'm with the Depp band, or you know, and I'm recording on my own and with Sly and Robbie, and I'm producing everything the same way as I did with UB40, it's just a lot quicker, you know, and a lot more satisfying, and a lot less compromise. You know, that's why in 2 years I've done, you know, 2 albums, and I'm on my fourth solo album, and I've made a couple of DVDs. You know, I'm so much more productive now because it doesn't take so much time, and because it's more spontaneous, you know, it's fresher, it sounds fresher, you know, because you don't overwork, you know, your ideas, you don't go over things all the time. You just come up with your idea and you do it.
So Ali, I guess this is it.
This is it, after Hungary. With my band. Oh, piece of safety. Hold it down, good boys. I'm doing what I've always wanted to do, you know, which is work with Sly and Robbie, and you know, and I can make music that I can be truly, you know, proud of, rather than going, you know, yeah, it's kind of like what I really, you know, wanted, but not quite. You know, this is it.
Ain't no big thing to wear to the battery. Ain't no big thing to toes off the bed. Aggravated, spare for days. I drove downtown the red light days. Jump up, bubble up, watching store. Love is a drug and I need to score. Showing out, hit and run. Boy meets girl when the beat goes on. Stitched up tight, can't shake free. Love